Happy Sunday and welcome to the Jaden Show. I'm Jaden Cornelius and it's absolutely bloody lovely to see you. I hope you've had a good week and you have been well. Please let me know because I always love hearing from the people that watch this show. I've had a busy week. I've been all the way to Australia to meet the most amazingly talented guy who is my guest today. His name is Leigh Thomas and you're going to see and hear from him in a minute. But I think we need to check out a bit of his music. This is one of his videos from YouTube. This is called Find My Way. This is Leigh Thomas. Enjoy.
Of sky, we sat and we wandered and looked at the stars together. We spoke about all the things we had done, the good things we had and the things yet to come. But never did we do wrong by this universe. Only the strong can lift a curse. I'm gonna find my way to your heaven, find my way to your soul. Use this time I've been given to find my way back home. Lights looming over the crest of the rise, a mist of your breath and the whites of your eyes were violence. Then in a pound of a heartbeat you're gone. Not a thing to be said, not a thing to be done, just silence. How could you go not saying goodbye? Whether below, whether high, I'm gonna find my way to your heaven, find my way to your soul. Use this time been given to find my way back home. I'm gonna sky the hills and the trenches, the ocean and the endless desert plain. Then the sun slips through my fingers and I wonder if it's all in vain. Ooh, I'm gonna find my way to your heaven, find my way to your soul. Until I'm tired of living, I'll find my way back.
Well, I know you loved that song and such a cool video as well. Let's go and meet the man behind it. Let's go and meet this week's very special guest, the amazing Leigh Thomas. Leigh Thomas, welcome to the Jaden Show from the other side of this glorious planet. How are you doing down under?
Very well, thanks, Jaden, and thanks for having me on down here in Australia. And yeah, it's a bit early in the morning, but I'm good to go.
Mate, I'm super impressed that you were up with the lark this morning to get on this show. That is like complete kudos to you, I tell you.
Oh, it sort of goes with the territory a little bit with a lot of the overseas people that I talk to. It's sometimes I'm up even earlier than this to do these sorts of things.
Really?
Yeah.
You look really like at that time in the morning. These are like two saggy bags that hang down like that. I look like a basset hound before 30. So you're looking incredibly fresh for this moment. But how many cups of coffee have you had up until this point?
I've had 3.
Okay, so you're on it. So you're you're like wired at the moment. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about yourself, obviously, because I want to introduce you to all my 3 fans and the collie dog that are watching today. When did you get your passion for music?
I was from my earliest memories. I just was drawn to music. I think just as a very young toddler even, I think my mum's got recordings of me singing nursery rhymes, and I just had an obsession with it. It's just something I don't really remember thinking, oh yeah, I think I'll get into music. It was just been a part of my life forever.
Wow.
I had a fascination for it, yeah, a real obsession with the sounds that were coming off these, well, I'll say vinyl records, because it was back in the vinyl days, and I just couldn't get enough of it, and I wanted to copy the sounds and just be inside.
Big part of that. Who were your idols like when you were growing up? Who were you listening to back in the day?
Well, my earliest memeries were the Beatles.
Okay.
My mum had quite a few Beatles records, and just really old school stuff. Buddy Holly, the Rolling Stones. These were before I sort of got old enough to go fishing for my own music, but I was just obsessed with the sounds of those bands, and later on I got into more sort of rock stuff, Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and all of those really cool old sort of 70s and 60s rock.
So, were your family into music, or just like regular? They would put a record on when your mum's dusting, or were they like? Did you have a musical family?
Not at all. No. Back, I think generations. My mother's side were quite musical. I think my grandmother played a bit of piano, and I think my great grandmother was a pianist for the local theatre and things like that. But no one in my direct family played an instrument. I think I was the one who wore the records out the most, and
really,
so I was sort of brought up fairly isolated from any musical influences directly. Obviously, there was no internet, and there were no other. I was brought up on a farm in a small town, and there were no other kids that played instruments. There was just nothing, so I sort of felt a little bit like a weirdo.
Welcome to the majority of our worlds, right? I think most artists are at the time, and we never really change, actually, to be honest.
No, that's the thing. I think that's a good thing. It sort of it keeps you in touch with your childhood a little bit.
Absolutely, and I think normal is so overrated.
Oh, definitely. I'm pretty pleased that I was kind of a little different, and it's hold me in good stead, I think.
No, we've just listened to "Find My Way," so obviously, being the black sheep of the family is paying off, because your voice is amazing and the song is amazing too. So
thanks.
You've gone from chilling out, listening to the Beatles. When did you first decide that you kind of think, well, actually, like this is a bit more of a calling than it is just like a regular teenage kid that just likes music? So when did you decide that I need to start learning instruments, or I need to be singing, and this is the career choice that I want to pursue?
Yeah, I don't really remember. It was because it was always just something that I felt drawn to. So I had memorized all the Beatles melody lines and harmony lines. So sing along a whole record as a young child, and sing all the harmonies, McCartney's harmonies, and then sing the Lennon lead or whatever. And I just went through that, and it was my grandmother bought me my first guitar when I was about 6 or 7 years old.
Ah,
So
okay, so super early then.
um, yeah, but it's a slow process because I had no teachers and no one to sort of show me what to do with it. So
Yeah.
I kind of just made noises with it until I hit something that, hey, that sounds a little bit like
Eh,
the sound on that song, and I'd sort of go from there. And I had a few books, and but basically just sort of stumbled my way around and learned to play by ear. And probably it wasn't until I was a teenager that I did meet some other kids who played and learnt, to, hey, how's he doing that? Or gee, what happened there? So and start sort of learning formal chord structures and things like that. So,
Okay, so
yeah, but
did that kind of create like a natural procession into, or progression rather, into singing and performing, or was that? I mean, how did that all of a sudden appear in your life?
yeah, I used to jam with a few other kids, and I was, even though I'd been singing all my life, I was a little bit sort of I considered myself, well, I'm just going to play guitar, and because that's an instrument that is a little bit more kind of tangible. And got started getting into a few bands just sort of for fun. But I think in the back of my mind, I always knew that yeah, this is going to be a lifelong thing, and I never really pushed into it too much. I had sort of to go to uni and learn to get a real job and those
Yeah.
sorts of pressures, and but all the while I was playing, and I think it wasn't until I was really forced by circumstance that I had to just throw myself into being a full-time player and performer, and I kind of ran out of options. It's like, oh, how am I going to make some money here? And just went out and learnt a set of songs just with an acoustic guitar, and just developed my vocals through just playing live. It was a kind of sink or swim situation, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took it from there, and I've sort of been playing professionally ever since.
That's amazing, man. Are the people that you kick back and listen to, are they the same as they were? Have you been like constant with your chilling out music through your life, or do your tastes
Reasonably.
change?
I've tried delving into all sorts of music. I love all sorts of music. I've listened to classical and blues and jazz and modern music as well. New wave sort of stuff. So I got into lots of different bands through the years. But I think those staples that you grow up with, they never really leave you. I can still put a Beatles record on or a Led Zeppelin record on and just enjoy it as much as the first time I heard it. So I think they'll always be with me, and they've sort of been a formative part of the music that I make. So it's what I know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go and be a jazz musician because there's it just wasn't the type of music that I listened to, and
right.
and I think you have to kind of, you
So
can't be a master of all trades, so
that's
to
the
speak.
best way to be, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
say it's always good to have another string to your bow. I'm finding now you need the whole bloody orchestra.
Yeah, which is it is it's which is a pretty hard thing to do. So
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So do you sing? I mean, you write your own music as well, right?
Yes, I do now. This It's strictly pretty much an original thing for me now. I played covers for many years and sort of made a living out of it, and honed my skills and learnt to be a live performer, which was great. But
Yeah.
it got, it gets boring after a little while, and I always knew that I would create my own music at some point, but it's
Yeah, of
taken me
course.
quite a while to get there.
Yeah.
But that's strictly, I'm just
The,
interested in
the song that we
creating.
played before this interview was "Find My Way." Did you write that song as well?
Yeah, yeah.
And what's the story behind that song?
It's I think it's a little bit about loss and rediscovery, and just trying to connect on a spiritual level with it's kind of a complicated but simple song. So which is most of my stuff is. The basic kind of narrative behind the song is losing someone and trying to, I guess, metaphorically search different dimensions because they must be out there somewhere.
Somewhere,
and
of course.
You just keep trying to get through life and through the world, and hopefully that loss is going to reconnect with you somewhere. I guess it's a song of loss and hope.
Yeah, it's
which
a beautiful, beautiful song.
It's kind of melancholy a little bit, but that's just.
But it's lovely. It's a beautiful track. It's one of my favorites, actually. So, do you write and sing the songs because that is the style that you feel that you're best suited to, or do you write and sing the songs because that is the style that your voice let me? Because obviously you've got a real beautiful depth and kind of raspiness to your voice that kind of lends to like Richard Marxy, kind of that kind of really smooth, soul-y, but still quite rocky voice. Do you write the stuff to please your voice, or is it to please your ears? I mean, how does it work?
No, I just write what comes out. I think so many years playing covers, you cover and try and match or sell the songs you're singing from so many different artists, so many different styles of vocals. So it kind of held me in good stead to be able to mix up my vocals and be able to approach them in many different ways, which is kind of maybe a little bit far overreaching because, you know, your voice obviously is suited to certain things and not others. But I've never kind of been too worried about, well, this doesn't suit my voice, but I'll just sing it anyway. So I don't really write to, and that can have a downside because it took me a little while to find my own identity as a singer, and because I was so used to trying to match the singers that I was covering, and I think that's been a little bit of a slower process to really find my own voice, and but I don't really think about it too much. Not when I'm writing. I just go with what sounds good and what feels good to sing. If there's something that's a little bit out of my depth or out of my preferred style, I don't worry about that. I just do it anyway. And hopefully it works. Yeah,
I've kind of done the opposite to that. I went into doing like classical crossover and classical. I was a pop boy back in the day, but then really kind of, you know, taught myself how to do the whole classical crossover. And now I'm here where I'm singing in, you know, bars and restaurants and cafes, and I'm singing everything from Whitney Houston to Oasis, right? I've had to unteach myself to sing because you can't sing Oasis like today is going to be the day, you know, because you're going to get a punch. I'll punch myself if I you know, so I've almost had to like, right, no vibrato, you know, a little bit more nasally. And I think it's actually an amazing school of musical learning, actually, when you're having to please everybody, because you can adapt. I mean, I'm never going to be able to sound like you, even though I would love to. And I'm never going to be able to sound like, you know, the guys from Disturbed or something like that, because I don't have that kind of raspiness to my voice. But I can do a good Whitney Houston, I can do a good Beatles, I can do a good, you know, like Oasis. But, you know, but I think it really opens you up. So then you learn how to, you think, oh, no, this song's need a bit, it's like more of a bluesy kind of vibe or more of a jazzy vibe. And I think it actually makes you better as an artist because you can play around with your vocals a bit more, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I learned from playing covers too. And so I don't generally worry about, you know, trying to fit a certain style. I think I'll just go with what this certain song sounds like it should, the way it should be delivered. So and the same. I've got all these different techniques and influences to draw upon to use, and I do use them, but it's not intentional. I think the song guides me as to, okay, this needs, you know, maybe a Beatles treatment, or this needs a you know, something.
But you're always Lee Thomas in all of that.
Well, I hope so, and that's been the difficult thing. So, but people do say it's, oh, you know, you can you can hear your own individuality in there, but I think, well, it sounds can be a little bit schizophrenic at times, but hopefully that there is an underlying, connectivity
In all
in
of
the
it.
way
In all of
I
it.
put it out. Mm.
So what are you doing at the moment? What's happening for you musically right now?
Right now, I'm getting ready to release my first album.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, this is it right here. There it is. We've got my backdrop
I
on
recognise.
there.
Look at that. How cool, man.
And so that's been a real challenge. I've only released singles up to this point for the last few years, and I thought, I've got to try something different and take a different approach. So I had quite a few songs backed up, and I thought, well, if I release all of these as singles and not write anything for 12 months, or I just bang them all out together, and not all of them are going to be singles anyway. So, and if I did that, I'd probably discard a lot and just pick the single worthy songs. And so
Yeah.
I thought, nah, I'll release them all. I'll put them all on an album and put them out, and include a couple of the singles that I've released just recently as well. And sort of make it into a bit of a package and
Oh, amazing. Man.
see how it goes. Yeah.
Do you record and produce yourself as well, or do you have to go? You have to.
No. I have a son who does it for me, and he's very, very good at that sort of thing. We think very alike musically. He runs his own band as well, and he's a singer, songwriter, guitarist, and he's got way more talent than I do. So he's really on top of all that stuff, and I love the fact that I can work with him, and it's quite special for me.
That's super cool. Yeah, unbelievably. Yeah. So when is your album released?
It's out on the April 5.
Okay.
And it's coming out on Bandcamp. I will pick a single or two to release to streamers, but I thought, no, well, I don't just sort of want to give it all away on Spotify. I'll put it on Bandcamp and see if I can turn a few over, because it's been a pretty expensive exercise.
Yeah.
And, without really much live work going on here, it's kind of been a pretty dry sort of couple of years financially for me. So
for us all as well, I think.
Yeah.
I really love it when like your followers and your supporters go, so when are you going to release another album? And I'm like, I'm still paying for the first one, mate.
Yeah.
And no one really buys them because everyone downloads now. So I've got
exactly.
I've got 3 studio albums. I've got stacks of them, and you're not really. It's a difficult. Right. It's a difficult. Bang now, really. To be fair.
Yeah, I thought I'd take the approach this time. I'm going to make Spotify work for me, and just release 1 or 2 singles, and purely for promotion. I think that's what Spotify really should be for us. Unless you're, getting songs on massive playlists or something like that. But
or you have 2.5 million followers, then it might be a little bit worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a building process, and I thought, well, I'll use Spotify to try and get a single or 2 out there to a wider audience, and the album can just really be for those people who follow me and want to support me, and hopefully pick up some new people on the way, and by getting it out to radios and podcasts and things like that, where a wider audience can be reached, and use the social media and
absolutely, because you have a good social media presence. I mean, you're kind of everywhere. To be fair,
it's reasonable. It's got a long way to go. I think it's sometimes difficult to reach new audiences, because a lot of these platforms, they're so insular, and the only way to sort of break out of your existing following to pick new followers up is I don't know, just hashtag and getting people to share things, and otherwise something like Facebook is you can post and you can have a couple of thousand followers, but about only a quarter of them are going to see your posts because of the algorithm, unless you're paying for it all the time. And sort of you're not reaching anybody outside really of that following group. So it's difficult even with the spread of social media to find new people to expose music to.
In the beginning, when it was kind of less, popular, we had the MySpace and stuff like that. It seemed to be actually working quite well for us. But now it's just like, I could do a 12-hour shift in a normal job and then come home and have to do 8 hours just to try and get people on YouTube to follow me and get 3 followers. And so it always made me laugh. I started this like tweet thing where it lets you know how many followers and unfollowers you've got. And it's like, you have 9,000 new followers. You have 9,006 unfollowers. It's like, what am I doing wrong that I keep getting it like this?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a lot of work.
It's bloody hard work, mate. Hard work.
Instagram frustrates me. You get every morning there's new followers, and they're mainly other artists. And I know I courteously follow other artists back, of course, and then you wake up the next day and your follow account's dropped, and all these new artists that followed you yesterday and you followed them back have unfollowed you because they want to try and get this huge following with a very small ratio of followers to following, and I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, I know. It's not bloody easy, man. Not bloody easy. But apart from social media, what does the future hold for Mr. Leigh Thomas?
Gee, that's a good question. I don't really know. You read all these things. So, you've got to plan. You've got to make plans. You've got to have a business plan or a business model. I don't plan shit. I don't plan anything. I don't know what I'm doing from one day to the next. I'm just going to keep writing songs. I kind of got a bit of a cycle going. I'll write, record, produce, play live, release, market, and then around it goes again. So once the album's out and I've sort of done some follow-up promo, I'll get back to writing again and get the guitar out and just get all my ideas together and see what I can put together. And I'd really like to follow this album up with another album. I think it's going to give me a little bit of direction as to where I should take my music. So that's the only thing I really think about.
Fantastic. And long as you're, it's like being in the moment, enjoying what you're doing, right?
I try to be, yeah.
Well, we can't plan anything. There could be another bloody pandemic next Tuesday. So it's just like, today, I'm going to be happy in my work and write another song.
Exactly. I think if that happened again, I'd be in a much better position than I was the first time around. So, I'd just be happy to lock myself away in the studio and
get cracking with your writing.
Exactly.
Lovely, man. Well, people at home, you've met Leigh Thomas. You can find him on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and on his website as well. Where have I forgotten any? I think I've covered them all. But through the whole entire show, you would have seen links running down the bottom to where you can find Leigh. Please go and support him on all of his social media platforms, and you can check him out on Apple Music, on Spotify, and more importantly, on Bandcamp as well. So thank you so much for being part of my show, dude. I'm super chuffed to meet you, and I wish you all the luck in the universe for your up and coming album. So maybe we can get together, have another chat in a couple of months' time, and let me know how it's going, and we can have a catch up, and that'll be great.
That'd be awesome, Jaden. And thanks for having me on the show. I've seen a few of the episodes and loving the show. And it's always great to talk to people in the business and are all around the world. It just sort of makes you feel a little bit less isolated.
Well, that's the thing. That's what COVID done to me. I was like, I'm living in the jungle in Mexico. My Spanish is really shit. My English is deteriorating because I need to talk to my dogs. Like, I just need to talk. So I emailed a few of my mates that are in the business, like back in the day. I was like, would you like to be on my show if I had started the show? And it's kind of, I mean, I'm coming up to like, 90 odd shows now, and I've still got, quite a few more planned. And it's been a way to meet people. And also because I know how difficult it is for me when I was kind of up and, trying to get myself up and running, and just trying to continue to not meet people that kind of shared the same passion, and B, just to get a little bit of publicity, a little bit of, just something else about me out there. So I was like, right, I'm going to do a little show where I could just talk to lovely people, because as you see, I like chatting. And also because I want to kind of, help promote and profile other artists. So it's been, it's great. So thank you so much. And get your bloody son on my show then, if he's more talented than you as well.
I shall do, yeah, I shall do. The band's called Pretty Bleak, and they've just released a new single and video, and they're really killing it over here. So
sweet. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look forward to chatting you about your new work. I also look forward to chatting to your son as well, and we will catch up again soon. Maybe 2023-24 there might be a Leigh and Jaden collaboration remotely, who knows.
Absolutely.
Take it easy, my friend. Thank you so much for being part of my show. See you later, bud. Thank you, Leigh, for being part of my show. Super amazing. And I still can't believe you had to get up that early. That's absolute crazy. But thank you so much. People at home, please go and show that brother some love and support. Go and check him out on his social media platforms, and find and download and stream his music on his music download and streaming platforms as well. Definitely check out his new album, which is available now on Bandcamp. I hope you have enjoyed this show as much as I have. Thank you so much for joining me on your Sunday. You can find me all over my social media as well. Don't forget, I'm Jaden Cornelius with an I-O-U-S, as you can see. Oh my gosh, here, look at this, I-O-U-S. So you can find me all over social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, just copious amounts of places for you to come and say hello. So please make sure you have subscribed to this channel. Please make sure you tell your friends and even your enemies to do the same. Join me again next Sunday for another fantabulous edition of the Jaden Show. Take good care of yourself. I'm going to leave you with another song and video from the amazing Leigh. This is called Something About You. Something About You. I'll see you next Sunday on the Jaden Show. Take care. Stay beautiful. Bye-bye.